They say Siberia keeps more secrets beneath its frozen soil than any library on Earth. But the discovery that shook the world and terrified it began on an ordinary afternoon in 1969. Miners in the Kemerovo region were drilling deep into the earth when their tools struck something that refused to break. At first, they dismissed it as just a massive boulder. But as they chipped away, they noticed something odd. The stone didn't just crack, it echoed like hollow metal when struck. When the dust finally cleared, what they saw took their breath away. The surface wasn't natural. It was covered in intricate, carved patterns. This wasn't a rock. It was a coffin. But it was unlike anything they had ever seen. The container was smooth, seamless, and translucent, glowing like frozen amber. It was harder than any mineral known to man. As the excavation lamps hit its surface, a soft light pulsed from within, almost as if it was reacting to the light, or maybe even their touch. The real mystery, however, was where they found it. The coffin was buried 20 meters deep in a layer of clay that geological records dated to be 800 million years old. That's a time before animals, before plants, before anything even remotely resembling humans walked the earth. How could a perfectly crafted sarcophagus exist in a stratum that predates all known civilization by hundreds of millions of years? With immense difficulty, they managed to bring it to the surface, and through its semi-transparent walls, they saw her, inside, suspended in a crystal-clear, blue-pink liquid. Was the body of a young woman. She had flawless, pale skin, delicate features, and long, dark blonde hair that floated around her head like a halo. She showed no signs of decay. No signs of death. She looked like she was simply asleep. Her clothes were even stranger, a shimmering, light fabric that seemed woven from something not of this world. The miners were stunned into silence. Some crossed themselves, whispering prayers. Others simply turned and ran, terrified of what they had uncovered. The local village quickly gave her a name, the Princess of Tisul. Word spread like wildfire, and soon the authorities arrived. First came the scientists, then the military. They immediately sealed off the entire site, erecting a perimeter that no one was allowed to cross. The miners who made the discovery were taken away for interrogation. Every camera, every notebook, every sketch, anything that documented the find was confiscated. The official story was sealed tighter than the coffin itself. The artifact was carefully loaded onto a helicopter and transported to a secret facility, a place the locals still refuse to speak about to this day. But secrets have a way of leaking out, especially in the vast, quiet expanse of Siberia. A few crucial details slipped through the cracks, passed along in hushed whispers. One of the most incredible details was how they opened it. The coffin had no visible lid, no seam, no lock. It was a single, solid piece. Then a researcher discovered something extraordinary. The material, which was impervious to their tools, began to soften to melt when exposed to a specific frequency of sound. It was as if it was designed to respond to a sonic key, a specific command. As the lid dissolved into the air, the mysterious liquid inside began to drain away, and the woman's body gently settled to the bottom of the container. What happened next is what turned this strange discovery into a terrifying one. Her eyes opened. Not wide, not with a jolt. Just a small, gentle flutter. Like someone slowly stirring from a very, very deep sleep. Most of the scientists present dismissed it, a muscle spasm, they said, a reaction to the change in pressure. But one of them, a geologist named Dr. Anton Melikov, later wrote about the event in a private letter that has since been leaked online. He swore that the heart monitor, which they had attached to the body out of pure scientific curiosity, registered a faint impulse. A single, ghostly echo of a heartbeat. Then another. After that moment, the official blackout was absolute. The Soviet authorities classified every single document related to the Tisul Princess. They silenced every witness, forcing them to sign non-disclosure agreements under threat of severe punishment. The entire event was wiped from public records, scrubbed from history. The official explanation was that the expedition was geologically inconclusive and the so-called Coffin was merely a misidentified natural rock formation. The story was buried, just like the artifact itself. Or so they hoped. But you can't bury a story that big. Rumors continued to spread. Stories of the miners and soldiers who had touched the coffin dying just days later from strange, unexplained hemorrhages. Whispers of researchers involved in the project descending into madness, haunted by what they had seen. One of the most chilling rumors was that the woman's body had mysteriously vanished from the secure facility several months after its arrival. Some theories suggest the government moved her to an even deeper, more secret underground lab. Others claim she was stolen by a shadowy private organization that believed she wasn't from an ancient human past, but from somewhere else entirely. They didn't think she was just preserved, they believed she wasn't dead. An elderly woman from a nearby village gave an even stranger account. She claimed she saw the coffin being loaded onto a truck one night, long after the initial discovery. She swore that the amber-like material had changed color. It had turned darker, almost a deep, cloudy red. And she said the liquid still inside it was swirling, agitated, as if something was moving within. To this day, mainstream science dismisses the entire event as folklore, an elaborate Soviet-era hoax designed to distract or misinform. They argue, quite logically, that no human fossil can be older than the human species itself. The 800 million year timeline is, by all scientific standards, impossible. But the miners who saw her with their own eyes, the few who are still alive and willing to talk, tell a different story. They insist the officials are lying. They remember the woman's face, peaceful and perfect, looking not dead, but merely sleeping. And they all swear that when the coffin was lifted from the earth, the air around it vibrated with a low, constant hum, a sound that resonated deep in their bones. So the story of the Tisul Princess lives on, caught somewhere between myth and forbidden science. Every few years, new leaks appear on blurry thermal scans, fragmented DNA reports claiming the woman's genetics are not entirely human. Anonymous emails asserting that the material of the coffin is of non-terrestrial origin, experts debunk them, skeptics mock them. But the legend persists because whether the Princess of Tisul was a perfectly preserved human, from a civilization that existed before history began, a visitor from another world, or a biological relic from a time that should be impossible, one fact remains stubbornly at the center of the story. A coffin was found where no coffin should ever be. And inside it, there was a woman who should never have existed. And if the stories are true, if she really did open her eyes for just a moment, it means that somewhere, in the deep, frozen silence of the past, something ancient may not be dead. It may just be waiting to wake up again. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to join us on our next journey into the unknown.